Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Otta with FedScoop TV, and welcome to our IT Modernization Heroes campaign. And I'm here with Dr. Tyrone Grandison, the Deputy Chief Data Officer for the Department of Commerce. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, federal IT managers recognize there's an urgent need to upgrade their systems. What has to change to accelerate modernization efforts?
To be blunt, it's the way that the federal government does IT. Pretty much. It's the way that we acquire, we use, and we actually put IT into
Okay.
operation. Basically, like procurement.
Right.
Like right now, we need to actually make sure that procurement aligns with what's happening outside of the IT
Okay.
infrastructure within government. So what's happening with the IT industry itself is that procurement needs to actually be more agile, right? It needs to actually be less focused on, let me rephrase that, it needs to be more focused on the user and needs,
Okay.
right? We need to figure out, so let me rephrase that. So every single product that the government uses requires FedRAMP certification.
Right.
That could be a barrier to modernization because it takes a long time and is really expensive, right? We need to figure out a way to actually get that done because no matter how much money you throw at the problem, if you don't have those process fixes in place, it's still going to be an arduous task. And like the final thing is, well, not final, but there are two other things. One is the ATO, the Authority to Operate process.
Right.
So every single data product, every single technology has to go through this risk assessment, this process every time it needs to actually be deployed. That could take anywhere, if you have a good IT shop, 3 months to like 9 months plus, right? That needs to be overhauled, and something needs to be done there where we can actually either share authority to operate, ATOs, or we can actually reduce the time for them. The thing that I've learned being in government, because I was prior in industry before, was that delivering in government is far different from delivering in private sector.
Okay.
Right, it's different because private sector is just basically it's a one-dimensional problem where you're just focusing on how do I get the solution to my customers like really quickly. Whereas in government, it's multidimensional with tech only being one dimension of like n, where n is like 10.
Right. Okay.
And most of those dimensions tend to be social, process, people, all that stuff. Stuff that you really can't solve with tech, but you have to actually negotiate to deliver something successfully.
Right.
So until we actually like recognize that and fix it and find ways around, not around, but ways of incorporating that into the process itself, it's going to be great, but it's going to actually be very difficult to actually execute on.
So one of the big initiatives, it's a proposed bill right now, is the $3.1 billion IT modernization revolving plan. If that does become law, where do you see low-hanging fruit that agencies could go, okay, we can fix this in 6 to 9 months?
So I'm going to punt on that question because like all agencies are not alike, all agencies are not equal. Every single agency has a particular mission that may have different characteristics from every other agency. So I'd say like, the first thing that any agency has to do is figure out what do they have,
Right.
right? Not only in their own agency, but in their sub-agencies, and then what can they actually leverage as like common features or platforms that they need, and then go after those, right? So it's more like you have to apply the process first,
Right. Okay.
know what you have, know what your needs are, and then like use economies of scale to actually deploy the common base infrastructure.
So with things like cloud computing, containerization, agile development, how does this change the outlook for IT services 12, 18 months down the road in agencies?
Again, it changes it dramatically. My one caution goes back to my first point in terms of if the other dimensions of the problem are
Right.
not adequately
Right.
fixed.
Right. It's a holistic thing. Right.
Yeah.
Understood.
So so I came to this position from the White House Presidential Innovation Fellowship.
Okay.
Right. And before that, I was in industry, and I was actually exposed to and leading companies that actually did agile development.
Okay.
That actually like use cloud services. As I'm thinking about it right now, it's a different beast, it's a different problem. Like my perspective, my viewpoint, the promise has always been there. It's just the optimization problem is really, really difficult within government. And you have to square like the process, the people, the silos, all that stuff first.
Well, I know that you've been doing a lot of work in there. So give me a success story that you've had that has helped not just modernize the technology, but modernize the way of thinking when it comes to technology inside
You know
the
what?
department?
I'll cheat and give you two.
Okay.
All right. The first is the International Trade Administration,
Okay.
ITA. So ITA has been moving over the past couple of years to a model where they're more engaging and supporting of their clients, which are exporters, businesses. So the point where now they have like a single management system, customer relationship management system,
Okay.
and they have moving towards cloud services. But like more importantly, like we're working with them on new ways of moving their engagement model from being more reactive to being more proactive by showing that you can actually apply data science to the way that they do engagement with their exporters.
Okay.
Such that we can figure out based upon the prior track record or the prior information of their performance, like which other companies that are currently not exporting should be. Right? And that's to them, that to everybody is actually a huge change, but it's also like the cultural, the operational, plus the technology.
Very, very, very
Yeah.
interesting stuff.
Second one, sorry.
No, no, no. Keep going. I would love to hear these
The
stories. That's
second
great.
one is NIST.
Okay.
Right. So NIST is probably the pioneer within the Department of Commerce at using Agile and using cloud services to
Okay.
actually improve their interactions with their researchers. So probably 5, 6 years ago, NIST, heard from their users that they needed to actually be in a different space because their systems were not compatible with what their researchers wanted them to be. And from that point, like all the laboratories across NIST have been working to figure out like how do we get a happy medium between like getting our researchers engaged with our internal scientists and actually producing results that everyone in the world can actually leverage. And they've actually done that through one, again, the cloud services, two, process changes and actually facilitating like a cultural information exchange within the different laboratories at NIST themselves.
Very, very interesting stuff. Appreciate hearing the stories and appreciate you stopping by to talk about them.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm Greg Otto for FedScoop TV. Thanks for watching.